Happy Independence Day.
Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Grand Cayman. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You can, when we say it like that, we say welcome, Grand Cayman, and we have people in the U.S. and Canada and the U.K. and the Caribbean and we have to say good morning, world. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Good morning, U.S. survey. Good morning, Canada. Good morning,
you
Jamaica.
know,
How are you doing, Jamaica?
that we have an international flair, an international platform, and we are not local.
No, no,
Um,
no, 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 no. Come on. Listen, no, don't say. You just sound. You sound like one of those persons. Who it's like I just got my bachelor's degree, and so I came home to the house I was living in, and my siblings are there, and now you are now above us all. I feel bad about it. I shouldn't feel bad that you got your degree, but at least, all right, let me fix it up. So I married this wonderful woman in my life, and she got a nice job, and she's elevated to the top position in the workplace. And then when she comes home, she's the CEO of the company, and when she comes home, she's no longer my wife. She's my CEO too. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, let me fix it up. We are going to treat each other as one today, not because we are elevated in any way. We're going to say, all Jamaicans, big up on yourself. All yard man, yard woman, big up on yourself. All Caymanians, big up on yourself. You understand? Canadians, Americans, Russians, and yeah.
Unity is that word, Mikey G. It's a word that is love to be used. I talk about unity, and when we speak about unity in diversity, knowing that we all are different, but what if we were unified? We know the potential.
Without the diversity.
Yeah, we know the potential that we have when we have that load to lift, when I'm not having it all on my shoulder, right?
Yes.
And we are splitting it. It's a powerful thought. And so as we celebrate with those persons in Jamaica, yes, Flashpoint Media headquarters right here, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, but we are in our colors this morning.
Well, I'm not in. I didn't get a chance to get in my colors. But no, you know what? I have the black on. Got the black.
And
There
so
it
I
is.
don't.
There it is. I got the black on, and my heart is green. Did I say green or gold?
I do not know. I cannot tell. But of course, I am reminded of the national anthem, which was done by the Agape Trio. I don't know if you listened to the open portal.
Yes, I did. I
What
did, and I did, and I did experience.
what an amazing voice.
I did experience a gentleman. What's his name? Is Jermaine?
Jill.
Giovanni. Giovanni. What a not, it was not the voice that so much that captured me. You understand, Lady Elise. The males we like to hear the good singing and everything, but the message that we came out of that young man, that open portal, that got me so stirred up to see a young man understanding so much about principles for life.
Yes,
It was
yes,
amazing. It was
yes.
amazing, Lady Elise.
So, as we get started, of course, we want to put this one on. I think it's fitting for us to start.
Well, Lady Elise, I believe you should welcome our Lady G on the platform before we get started. And so when we come back. And so we are back and say, Lady, we wanted to see you this morning in all your colors, all your glory, bright sunshine. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, sweet, sweet Jamaica.
Sweet, sweet Jamaica. Nah, yeah, well, we did
I try.
leave. We did leave, but we not left.
All right.
We leave, but we never left.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes. So let me ask you, your colors of Jamaica, you proudly wear them everywhere you go. If you're in the United States of America, if you're in the Grand Cayman Islands, if you're in Canada or the UK or any part of the Caribbean you may go, you proudly wear your colors. Tell me some of the experience that you may have had while wearing your colors. Some of the questions asked. Just even one or two. Give me two questions that it's commonly asked when people see you in your colors walking around.
Oh, I like that dress. I like that dress, yeah.
Because Jamaica market it?
No, it had the colors. That's the colors.
Just the colors.
Dress, yeah. And the other question too could be, are you Jamaican? Hypothetical question.
Well, that's all right.
Jamaica celebrates 63 years, and we say congratulations to Jamaica. And I believe it's fitting that we add this one. We of course start with the anthem. So at this time, attention, Mikey G and Hazel G.
Attention,
No. I'm saluting the flag first before we start.
Keep us free from
Could you bring it back, ladies? Bring it back one time.
Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defenders, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Sir, response to duty's call. Strengthen us, the weak to cherish. Give us vision, lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father. Grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica land we love. We love.
Teach us true respect for all. Give us wisdom lest we perish.
Lady Hazel G, as I sat and listened to the national anthem being sung, I am indeed, humbled this morning before our flag this morning. I am not, I'm upset sometimes when I see how poorly some people treat our country. But then, for me as a Jamaican, I do not look at how poorly we see. I would say to you, Hazel G, that our country has undergone so many what you call disruptive implementation of ideologies and devices in the background of our country. What you're looking at is seeing the people that we say the people this and the people that, but we have not seen the devices that work in the background that destabilize the nation by incentivizing anarchy. I don't leave it at that. And so when you fight against, when the evil powers, did you hear that part in there? I think the evil powers mean. You think it's talking about God and Satan?
No.
Evil powers of men. Men. Not Jamaicans necessarily, but yes, of Jamaicans at one point. But evil men who will use the same black skin to fight you and to disrupt you, to destroy you. And so we have seen colonialism, we have seen slavery, we have seen all of that. We have listened to the history of our people. We have seen where we have come from. And today Jamaica stands triumphant. Free nation, free people, no longer in slavery and in the chains. Many says that we have removed the chains from our hands and feet, but it's placed on our brains. And I would rightfully want to say, yes, it is a truth that may be sometimes not wantonly readily accepted, but it is true. But then, by knowing our history, and by knowing our past, and by knowing us as a people and our potency, those chains of psychological oppression can be removed as well as the physical chain. That's what I would say. And so many have done it already, but many have still remained in those chains. My preaching is finished, you know.
What do you want us to say? Preacher.
No, don't say preacher, but I had to, it's just one of those things.
I paused this morning to recognize our viewers tuned in on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, or if you're on our web radio, www.flashpointmedia.ky. It is Wellness Wednesday, but it's also Independence Celebration in Jamaica. So a few of our listeners, and of course our reach extends far and near. Just a reminder, though, our home office is in the Grand K. We certainly extend far and near, and of course our listeners tuned in over there in Jamaica. I was listening to a conversation with Mario, and he was saying, Flashpoint gone abroad. It's even in the bus park there in Jamaica listening. So I want to say happy independence to Jamaica and Jamaicans far and near, spread all across the diaspora, and we are clad in our black, green, and gold, representing. And so we don't forget where we are from, where we,
As you mentioned, the bus park in Jamaica.
Whether we are old or young, whether we are rich or poor, whether we are high or low, we are celebrating today.
As you mentioned, Lady Elise, the bus park in Jamaica, I want to big up the man, Mama Boy. It's commonly known as a nickname, but his name is Garnet. So I want to say good morning, Garnet. Big up yourself, Mama Boy. Yeah, big up the CB Association and the CBS of Jamaica and across the globe. Of course, Mikey G, I can't tell you my CB name right here because the Mikey G and the CB name don't match very well, so we'll leave it there. So Mama Boy, big up yourself. Bus park, Spanish Town, all taxi drivers, all bus drivers, big up yourself. Celebrating independence, 63 years of independence since 1834. of emancipation. 1834, emancipation took place across the globe, right? And Jamaica was a part of that beneficial factor. But guess what? As much as emancipation came, the disrespect of black people continues even until today. And civil rights movement, black people, as it were, civil rights for many in other jurisdictions would have meant that you are now not cattle, not property, but now people. And so if you take away civil rights from black people in this jurisdiction, you become property and cattle all over again. Now, civil rights, to me, has disenfranchised many, just by the thought of it. Because other ethnicity did not need civil rights to be civil rights, to be people. So by just knowing that alone, it for me, I don't really want to be classified within the rights of civil rights, because I am now cattle, because it's like apartheid. Let me tell you about apartheid. Apartheidism is, and I remember Sir Garfield Sobers, and I don't know if Sir Garfield Sobers was one of them, but it was at that time, and he was one of my heroes of cricket, and I don't like cricket. I don't like cricket so much. But at that time, West Indies cricket was one of the biggest names across the world, right? And so the apartheid state of Africa, South Africa, who would deem the persons who were black before they could come to the country. They wanted to play with those persons. They wanted to play a match against them because, of course, they wanted to show how superior they were against the black people, the West Indians. And so they wanted them to come to Africa to play with them. But they could not come unless they were white. They couldn't play with them. And so what they did, they wrote a document and gave them a status of honorary white, civil rights.
Okay.
I just want to also remind you
You're
that
listening to
Flashpoint
Flashpoint.
is a big celebration. Independence. I recognize that there's going to be a grand gala today, and tickets are free. That is the information I'm receiving about the grand gala being held over there in Jamaica. And it is a celebration. And some persons are chilling and relaxing in bed, taking the opportunity to certainly reflect too as to what independence means. Were you alive 63 years ago? And what was the celebration like? That would be an interesting conversation to have, Mikey G.
Wow.
But
yes, that's something that I would like to see. Someone who was I was born in 19. My father, if he was alive still, would have been that person. Yes.
In 1963, I can remember distinctly where I was. I was at Porter's Mountain Primary School when they came and they gave out those cups.
Hold on, Hazel G.
Yeah.
Blazing the steel. Bring the heat. Mix it non-stop with the hottest DJ.
Hold on. You're around 1963.
Yes.
And you remember where you were?
I remember where I was at Porter's Mountain Primary School when they came out and gave out those cups, the green cups.
oh, they gave us cups.
Yeah, they gave them out, the independence cups, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mercy. What was it? Let me ask you, Izzy. At that time, you were a little girl growing up.
Yeah.
Where was it location?
I said I was at Porter's Mountain Primary School in Westmoreland.
Westmoreland. So you are a country girl. All right. So, and that didn't mean bad things. It didn't mean bad things. It means that there was celebration in the country while there was celebration in the town.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of any town though. I just think of them bringing all these things and give away at the school.
No, I know. What did it feel like at that time for you as a little girl hearing about independence? All right. what was it? What did it feel like to you?
I really never understand anything about what was happening. All I know that they were there and giving out these cups.
Some of
And I still remember where and what happened.
So let me ask you a question. You remember you as a little girl growing up, you only have one radio station. You remember the radio station, what it was? Or the radio, what it was called?
JBC. No?
You go on.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I know JBC. I think that was a radio station, but I don't think where I was at that time, like in 1963, there was any radio. We didn't have any radio.
Yeah, that thing they call Radio Fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Radio Fusion.
That one big, like with mic on it in them.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, so it was mass media.
Later on, as you talk about that radio fusion, like I think it was like maybe on the weekend, we would go to somebody's house and they would be playing that radio fusion and we'll be out in the yard dancing.
With the songs that were being played. But the songs that were being played, this is what was happening in the background, and I don't want to get into the history a lot, but in the background, the songs that were played were colonial masters' songs of their culture. It wasn't the Jamaican people were being taught other things. But there were some persons who were in the culture at that time who started realizing that this thing wasn't like a Marcia Griffiths. There's a Byron Lee somewhere in there. Maybe not as close, but maybe further down. By 65, maybe coming up about 64, 65. But as the music started, it started to change. Bob Marley got in there later on, because in there Bunny Wailer started first. It wasn't Bob Marley. Bob Marley was like a sidekick to Bunny Wailer and the other guys. Free Eye and these guys were there. So it was a big thing coming into. There's one guy that I wanted to name, but his name is slipping me right now as I think about it. Was that a revolutionary singer who sang some songs that were never played on radio, or they would never play them at the time, while they didn't hold any form of profanities or anything at all in there. But just the message of the music, I did not allow them to play. So yeah, Radio Fusion, Lady Elise was the radio, and that radio told the story and cultured the mind of the Jamaican people even after 1834, when emancipation was finished. They were still being taught another history, not your history. Black My Story, Ziggy Marley, this morning. All right. You know the song, right?
I wanted the listeners, those who are tuned in from Jamaica, you can share their flag and tell us what they're planning to do today, if they're going to be chilling, if they're going to go to a ride, or if they're going to the Grand Gala, and what they expect to be doing. Just a reminder that today is still Wellness Wednesday, and Dr. K will be sharing with us today. Mikey G.
Well, it's Wellness Wednesday. I was just trying to text a message here on the chat, ladies. It's where we are. And so I was trying to say good morning to all our listeners this morning. Let's see if I can see. Yes, I want to say good morning. And so I wanted to just simply text a message to say that, in fact, of course.
Tell us what you're doing today. And it doesn't matter if you're in JA, right? If you are a Jamaican living anywhere else, are you wearing your colors today? What are you doing today? If you're in Jamaica, what are you doing? Are you resting, relaxing, watching the Grand Gala? That is so much pomp and pageantry happening today. So many things happening. But, of course, Dr. K is ready to share with us, Mikey G.
All right. When we come back.
to this episode of the Breakfast Hour. Good morning and welcome. Good morning, Mikey G.
Good morning, Lady Elise. I'm telling you, this morning it's, as you said, Independence Wednesday. It's Wellness Wednesday, but not only Wellness Wednesday, but Independence Wednesday. We're celebrating independence in Jamaica because we have uh, found out that we are able to do this one thing, and today we are celebrating it. Of course, from what? From British rule, from decades ago, and maybe almost a century ago. So yes, Independence Day, but Wellness Wednesday today.
Of course, and we are so happy that Dr. K is in the house. Now, each week she shares very valuable information. I know that you that are in Jamaica are sleeping in a little late. But whatever time you're listening to this episode of the Breakfast Hour, I'm sure it will be helpful to you. As Dr. K, who is a physician with many years of experience, she's sharing very, very, very valuable tips for our health and well-being.
All right, when we come back. Of course, it's Wellness Wednesday. I want to say good morning once again to our listener viewers on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Of course, our listeners on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues all day, 24 hours. Of course, welcome Dr. K and good morning to you. Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. And of course, our Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day, Mikey G. Happy Independence Day, Lady Elise. How are you doing this morning?
You, how does it feel to be independent?
Am I really independent? Oh no, I forgot to wear my red, green, and oh no, yes. Anyway, I'm neutral today.
All right, so we're not going to use the gold, the red, green, and gold. It's going to be
red. It's black, green, and yellow, Mikey G.
All right, so I believe it. It's all right. So it's a Pan-African flag, which is a red, green, and gold, which Rastafarians use. So I just went to that one. And of course, it is a subsidiary of Jamaican flag, or the Jamaican flag is a subsidiary of the Pan-African flag. So one of the two. All right, we're going to be talking about wellness this morning, Doc. What do you have for us this morning?
Okay, so today we'll be talking about heart failure. And I hope as we celebrate and do all the things that we do today and have been doing since Friday, that we are keeping our heart healthy and not overdoing the bad things that will actually worsen or send us into heart failure. So, what is heart failure? As the word says, your heart has failed. Meaning that it's a condition where your body is not able, or your heart is not able to meet the requirements of the body. And what that means is that, for example, you're supposed to be pumping blood around the body. And if your heart or the pumping action of your heart is not optimal, then you will not be pumping blood around the body. And remember, blood takes nutrients and also remove waste from the body. So if this action is not available, then basically what happens is that you're not able to meet the demands of the heart. So basically with heart failure, remember you have the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart, and blood goes into the right side of the heart from the body where it takes the dirty blood. It goes through the atria, go down to the ventricle, and then it go into the lungs, get cleaned up, then it goes into the left side of the heart, into the atria, into the ventricle, and then it pumps clean blood throughout the body, and that's where you get that, and it keeps doing. So the action of the heart is that blood comes in and it's pumped out. So if you're not able to pump the blood out properly, then what is going to happen is the body's going to back up. And it's going to back up on the left side. It's going to back up in the atria. Then it's going to back up into the lungs. Then it's going to back up on the right side, and then it's going to back up on the atria, and then it's going to back up in the organs, your legs, and everything else.
It's a complete chain reaction, Doc.
Correct. So if one section is not working, then what happens is that the blood pools. So it's supposed to empty completely. So the blood is supposed to fill and it's going to empty. If it's not emptying completely and it's going to be backing up, then what is going to happen is that it's going to. So it's almost like you have it's like, think about you having a strainer. You know what a strainer is, and you're trying to strain some soursop juice, and you're trying to put this soursop through the strainer, and it's not coming through the strainer because the pulp is blocking up the strainer. Then what's going to happen? And you're constantly pouring in, which is supposed to be coming out. And if you're not pouring in, then it's going to be flowing over. Unfortunately, flow over is going to go all to the other side of the body, and then it's going to continue until it reaches into the legs, and then it's going to back up into the organs where the blood is coming from. And so that is really a synopsis of what really heart failure is. And so there are a number of things that can happen to heart failure. So how do you know that you have heart failure? And usually people who have heart failure know that they have heart failure. So we talked about different types of heart failure. So you can have heart failure that the left side of the heart is not working. You can have heart failure where the right side of the heart is not working, or both sides of the heart is not working. And basically we call that congestive heart failure. But whatever cause of the heart, whichever part of the heart is not working, it's still heart failure because you're going to be getting the same effect. Now, for persons who have heart failure, what are the symptoms of heart failure? So some of the first symptoms that they normally have is that they get short of breath. So they're walking from here to the door and they have to stop because they're short of breath. Wow. And that's because they're basically, the heart is not working properly. As I say, the fluid is building up. So they basically have fluid being built up in the lungs. So they get very short of breath.
Doc, I don't want to break your point, but the question I want to just interject right there is that somebody feeling this effect and decide that, you know what, I'm unfit. And I remember your point that you're making, right? And so the person says, I'm unfit. And when I was a little boy, I used to run. I used to be able to do 10 laps around the field. And I know it's because I stopped running. And so right now, as I'm feeling this shorter breath, I may want to start to do some of those running again and exercise to prevent myself or to increase, to stop myself from having shorter breath by having longer breath, a better stamina by starting to run. And what do you say about that? Do the person go ahead and start exercising or running and stuff immediately?
So that's a difference because the person who normally would be running and having and be okay, and all of a sudden on exertion they're getting short of breath, is a different thing. This is short of breath on exertion. So their shortness of breath is after they're doing so. They normally play soccer, and after playing soccer football for a little while, they probably were a good football player or they used to be walking a marathon and they realize they can barely walk a mile because they get short of breath. That's a different thing. That's probably due to being not losing that level of fitness. But when you have heart failure, it's not just on exertion. It's basically shortness of breath with just slight exertion. And there are other symptoms too. For example, sometimes you'll ask the person, and when they lie down, they have to wake up in the nights because they're short of breath. So when they're lying down in the bed, they just jump out of the bed and get short of breath. Or sometimes they can't lay flat because they get short of breath. And so it's not just being short of breath. Sometimes they have the fatigue and swelling of the legs and the ankles and the abdomen. Sometimes they get weight gain, and that's one of the things that we ask about our patients with heart failure. And that's one of the ways to control your heart failure is to get a scale to make sure that you weigh yourself on a daily basis. Because anytime you go up by more than 1 to 2 pounds on a regular basis every day, then you know that you're retaining fluid. And that's one of the signs can tell you that, hey, you're having heart failure. And another thing that causes, because you're backing up fluid, you want to urinate a lot, especially at night. And you might have a cough, this hacking cough, because of the fluid buildup in the lungs. So yes, heart failure is something that a lot of people have. Sometimes they have subtle features where they do not have these features. But it's important that we understand the whole principle of heart failure, because heart failure is one of the leading causes of death and morbidity, especially among older people. So, what are the risk factors for heart failure? Just getting older will make your heart fail a little bit. So, your heart won't be optimal. The muscles of your heart will stretch out as you get older. And having high blood pressure is also basically, if you would think about the muscles stretching out, so if your muscles, think about you usually exercise a lot, right? And that's the difference between the muscles of the heart and the skeletal muscle. When you exercise and you build your muscles get bigger, right? And can work more. But when you don't exercise or you lose that strength in your muscles become a little bit more flaccid. Your muscles don't stand up as much as they used to be, and they don't get as harder, especially when you're doing work. So think about the heart like that. So when your heart basically stretches out, your heart is not able to pump because it becomes a little flaccid. And as a result of that, that's where you can get problems with the heart. So just aging alone basically put you at risk for mild heart failure. What are the other things? High blood pressure, diabetes. And one of the big things is when you get a heart attack. When you get a heart attack, what happens is that you're decreasing blood flow to the heart muscle itself. And once you decrease this blood flow to the muscle will die. And as a result of death of that muscle, what happens is that there is decreased motion of that muscle. So you're damaging the heart muscle, and the heart muscle will not work again as it normally does before. So basically, your pumping action will be significantly impaired.
Here's a question for you, Doc.
Uh, mhm.
Is there an exercise that you can do to increase the muscles, revitalize the muscle? Is there an exercise that you can do? I could possibly say I'm suspecting that my heart muscle is weak. Is there something that I could do to create that to cause my muscle now to become much stronger, or increase the strength of it?
So the thing to do is for your heart muscle not to become weak at all.
Okay.
But as you get older and you exercise and you eat properly, especially exercise. Exercise is very important in working that heart and strengthening that heart muscle. So exercise is very, very important. So if you exercise and you eat right and you do the right things, control your blood pressure, control your diabetes, yes, you can have a strong heart. But once your heart muscle weakens, usually you can have medication that can help to strengthen your muscle, but you still need to exercise and make sure that that heart muscle is optimally enhanced.
Wow. For me,
So yes, it's a different thing that you can say, oh, your muscles of the skeletal muscle, when your muscles are weak, you can try to strengthen them. It's a different kettle of fish with the heart muscle. So you really don't want to damage that muscle at all, because sometimes the damage can be permanent.
So can heart failure be cured without?
Heart failure can be depending on the stage of heart failure,
Yes.
because if it's a case where your muscles are not, you can recondition those muscles, and the muscles can basically go back to basically near normal. So it all depends on the stage, because there are different stages of heart failure. So if it is at the early stages, yes, but later down, it's hard for it to go back to where it was. You can get, um, you basically can improve your heart failure. You can, and there are drugs that you can take to improve the heart failure. So, would I say it can be cured depending on the stage of it?
Doc,
Early stages, yes.
Dr. K, here's a question for you from one of our listeners this morning. It says, can a heart muscle get hard, and what caused that to happen?
Okay, so that's the thing that happens. So when you have, for example, decreased blood flow to the heart, say for example you have a heart attack, what happens is that heart muscle dies. And when the heart muscle dies, it gets hard. And there are other things that can cause it. Chemicals can cause it. Radiation can cause it. But that's when you can have chemotherapy drugs, HIV. There are a number of things that can cause, viruses can cause the heart muscle to be damaged. And when it gets damaged, yes, it does get hard. So that's why it doesn't pump. The elasticity of the heart is gone. So it's not pumping properly.
Wow. All right, thank you for that one, Doc. Because
So yes,
I trust and hope
yes, it
that
does get hard, unfortunately.
and then if it, all right, so here's the second half of that question is, if it gets hard, can that be reversed in any way? And then I guess that would be the question.
So if it gets hard, so for example, as I say, it can be reversed to an extent, and it all depends on how far gone it is.
Okay.
It all depends on how far gone it is, because yes, it can be improved in terms of the function of it and in terms of the muscle. But once you damage muscle, you damage muscle. So that's the unfortunate thing. The thing to do is basically not to damage the muscle at all, because what you don't want is that you do not want that permanent damage to the heart. And that's why we always try to prevent a heart attack, or even if you're getting a heart attack, we treat ASAP to prevent that permanent damage to the heart muscle. Okay? So, because remember, heart failure has a lot of complications. And one of the big ones is when you get the irregular heartbeat, and we've talked about atrial fibrillation. So instead of the heart pumping and pumping and pumping, the heart is doing this. So blood is retained in the heart, and you get this atrial fibrillation. And one way that happens is that the blood, because the heart is not pumping the blood out, and there are lots of rhythm and irregular beat to the heart, what can happen to the heart is that the muscle, the blood itself can pool in the heart. And so when you pull blood anywhere, what happens? You form a clot.
Okay.
And so a clot can be formed in the heart because the muscles are pooling in the heart, in the chambers of the heart. And then what happens? When you pump that blood out, you're pumping that clot out. And where does that clot go? Straight to the brain and cause a stroke.
Wow.
So, and then you can get things like irregular rhythm, like probably ventricular rhythms and stuff, because the heart is not pumping properly. And then as a result of that, the heart can stop. That's the ultimate thing. The heart can stop. But other complications is that you can get fluid buildup in the lungs. And when you get full of fluid buildup in the lungs, basically you're drowning in your own body fluids.
So what would cause, Doc, as you said that, what would cause the lungs now to actually retain fluid? Where would that fluid come from?
Okay, so remember I said to you that fluid come from the right side, from the legs and all the rest of the body. That's dirty blood go into the heart, then it gets pumped into the lungs, get cleaned up, and then from the lungs it go into the left side, and then the whole process go again. So if it's not working and the fluid is backing up from the left side and backing up into the left side and backing up into the lungs and then backing up into the right side. So because the fluid, the heart is not pumping it out, it's backing up and it's
Nowhere
going to
to
back
go.
up into the lungs.
Has nowhere to go.
It's gonna keep backing up into the lungs, and the blood is supposed to be coming into the lungs. It's gonna backing up on the right side of the heart, and then the blood is supposed to go in the right side of the heart. It's gonna back up into the legs and back up everywhere, and then they get the edema and everything else. So the whole body becomes swollen because the fluid is backing up, backing up, backing up.
And so you'd recommend eating right, or is there some? All right, you know what? I'm not going to put any words in your mouth today. Yeah, this morning. And what I'm going to ask is this: what would be the best course of action to take if you find yourself in this condition?
Well, the thing about it is that it depends on where you find yourself in and what stage you are with heart failure. The thing to do is to have regular exercise every day. Make sure you actually work on that heart. So when you're in the early stages of heart failure, make sure you get your regular exercise. Unfortunately, when your heart failure is far gone, it's hard for you to exercise because why? Every time you move, you're short of breath. Think about it. Your legs are swollen, you're feeling like a log. It's going to be a little difficult for you to exercise at that stage. But the thing to do, so you probably will need to be on medication to improve your heart failure so you can exercise. But exercise, walk every day. A simple walking every day is enough to help with these conditions. So walk, 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 walk. You know, that's walking is very good. Continue walking. You don't have to be going to the gym. There are exercises that you can do with your own body weight. But walking is a very good form of exercise to help us, a very good form of regular exercise. And try to treat your underlying conditions. So if you have high blood pressure, make sure your blood pressure is controlled. If you have diabetes, make sure your diabetes is controlled. If you have high cholesterol, make sure your high cholesterol is controlled. So your diet is very, very important. And your lifestyle is very important. Remember, alcohol or other drugs can damage your heart. Cocaine and other things can cause damage to your heart. Tobacco, smoking can damage your heart. Okay, so it all depends on the underlying cause, and it's a matter of staying away. And if we maintain the lifestyle that we're supposed to maintain, we will try to keep our heart healthy. Remember, sometimes we're born with conditions that we have no control over. We're born with a family history of heart failure, and then we're more likely we can be born with congenital heart defects that can send us into heart failure. We can be born with a lot of things that can put us at risk for heart failure. But if we can control the things, it behoves us to control the things that can actually prevent us from getting heart failure. And if you know you have heart failure, then you need to have regular visits with your doctor and make sure that the underlying cause and even treating your heart failure is improved. Because really what you don't want is that you do not want to have the side effects. You don't want to impair your independence, your life is changed because you cannot walk far, you cannot do the things that you want to do. That's uncomfortable, believe me. People who have heart failure tend to just sit around because it's difficult for them to walk. It's difficult for them to even do their regular routine, regular lifestyle is compromised. You were saying something there, Elise?
Yes, you mentioned earlier that one of the risk factors for the development of heart failure is just simply aging. Uh, what age would you consider that tipping point where you could possibly be more at risk? Is it 40, 50,
60,
or 60?
over 65.
Over 65?
Don't worry,
Over
there is you are nowhere near there. Don't worry, don't worry,
over
there is.
65. And remember that because and that is just a normal aging process. You know, age tends to do just wear out your muscles. I mean, you have to think about it. A 65 or 70-year-old person's muscle is not the same as a 20-year-old. regardless of how much you work out, it's still not the same. You have to put in a lot more work for your muscles to be as taut as a 20-year-old. A 20-year-old goes to the gym and lifts 250 pounds and they're solid as a rock. A
Yes.
70-year-old will go to the gym and would have to go there all the time to get even close to that tension that that person would have, or that tautness that that person would have in their muscles. And so just by aging, your muscles age, and that's just a physiological process. And it's not going to age to the point where you're going to be and I said aging, it's just probably mild. So you have to make sure now you maintain all the parameters that will keep you healthy. So if you're going to be managing your stress, stop stressing, managing it in a proper way. And I always say stress is very, very, it is one of those factors that affects just about every disease entity in your body. And we can talk about it more because it really is so important, because it does affect every disease entity. And we talked about our exercise, or we talked about maintaining a healthy weight. We talked about managing your underlying condition, your diabetes, your high blood pressure, eating right. These are things that we stress on almost every time we talk about something. We go back to these fundamental properties of how to take care of your body. And also have a conversation with your doctor. If you have any of these symptoms, don't stay at home and say, oh my God, I think I'm just unfit. Have a conversation. Your doctor will probably do an EKG or an echocardiogram looking to see how your heart is functioning, especially when you get older. But have a conversation. Don't just pass it by and say, oh, you know what, it will get better. You need to have, and that is why it's important to get your regular annual wellness exams, regardless of your age. Always get your one. Even if you see your doctor once a year, it's fine if you're healthy. But make sure you get your annual wellness checks on a regular basis. And so we just need to be aware that there's so many entities, and one of them that we can basically try to control is heart failure. Because once you get that thing, once that heart muscle it becomes damaged, it's damaged. You get a scar, you have that scar for a long, long time, and that area of your body will never be the same. The same thing with your heart muscle. Once it becomes damaged, it's damaged, and you really do not want that to happen, because the truth is that you want to have a life that is fulfilling, one that you are able to contribute to yourself and to the welfare of others. And if you are unable to meet your needs, meet your daily requirements, then what is going to happen is that you're going to be constantly dependent and losing your independence, and nobody wants that to happen. You're unable to work because you're always ill. You're always having chest pain or shortness of breath. You're swelling of your legs. It's not a good feeling. It really isn't a good feeling.
Well, Dr. K, I don't know, but thank you so much for joining us this morning for this episode of the Breakfast Hour. If you were to tell somebody who has come across, actually has been exposed or have not been exposed yet, what would you tell that person about taking care of themselves?
If I were to come across somebody who has not been exposed to
Not yet, to heart failure. Heart
or
failure. Not
somebody who
exposed to
does
heart
not
failure
have
yet.
heart failure.
What would you advise them?
So anybody who, I mean, most of us don't have heart failure anyway. It's probably about 6 million people in the U.S. living with heart failure. But somebody who does not have heart failure, and somebody who, and it's not just heart failure, it's every entity. I would say make sure you have the lifestyle changes that are optimal for health and wellness. Make sure you sleep well. Make sure you get enough exercise. Make sure you eat well. Make sure you um, exercise. Make sure you manage your stress. And also, if you have underlying conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity. Make sure those things are well controlled and stay away from things like alcohol, tobacco, and other entities that can cause heart failure. So, yes, that's what I would say to somebody who is healthy right now, and so that even if they have a family history of heart failure, so they do not become or be
At risk for heart failure.
at risk or even get heart failure. So the thing about it is just, it's just like saying, you're at risk for diabetes because you have a strong family history of diabetes. What do? You do the same things I tell you about. You're at risk for high blood pressure because you have a strong family history of high blood pressure. You do the same things I told you about. So it's always the same fundamental principles in terms of managing your lifestyle and making sure that you get optimal health, because health is wealth. Health, being sick is very expensive, people. Very, very expensive. In every way.
Thank you so much, Dr. K. The heart of it, taking care of your heart is so important. And despite your best efforts, we know that there are certain risk factors that we can't avoid. But there are certain things that we can implement in our lives to minimize the risk and help us to live healthy, happy lives. So thank you again, Dr. K, for sharing with us all about heart failure today. And I hope that, of course, on this Independence Day, somebody would have learned something to improve their health, not just now, but for the future and for their loved ones as well.
All right, thank you so much, Doc. I must add my quota of thank you as well. And of course, see you on the next side of the next Wellness Wednesday. And of course, as Elise says, happy Independence Day to you. What about independence? What are you going to do for independence?
Well, we are in solidarity to the persons who are residing in Jamaica. Flashpoint Media, our home, our base right now is in Cayman, even though we are in our independence colors today. We want to wish all our viewers that are tuning in Jamaica, those who are sleeping in late island right now. But I want to say just happy independence to you. Enjoy the day. And remember what independence should mean. I'm sure she is going to have an epiphany about what independence. Let's just wait on it to happen sometime during this episode, The Breakfast Club.
Of course, when we come back. Thank you, Dr. K. Have a happy independence.
Thank you so much. You too, Lady Elise.
we're gonna have it. This is the land of my birth this morning. Good morning, Hazel G. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yes.
I had to do a little bit of celebration this morning. I had to do a little bit of celebration for all the Jamaican friends, for the persons who are celebrating with us, who are not Jamaicans, all Caymanians who love Jamaicans, all Americans who love Jamaicans, all Canadians who love Jamaicans, all Africans who love Jamaicans, all Guyanese who love Jamaicans, celebrating with us this morning. Yeah, it is for you as well as me, and Hazel G, and Lady Elise, and Corey Karen. Corey Karen, good morning to you. I know that the news is coming up later on, Hazel G, but guess what? I had to do that one for everybody.
The news is coming up later. What time is the show ending today?
Well, today is an extended version of the breakfast hour, and today we have to do it with that in mind. Well, here's the one that I wanted to put on this morning, Lady G. Here's this one. Tell me if you remember this one.
Sing it up, mister. Hey, what I said, so, yeah.
Wow. Here's this one, though.
Then you will get no hurt, mister. No, no, no. I said it, yeah. I said yeah. What they
say. Oh my gosh. Yeah, later on today, guys, trust me, join me back here in the afternoon, because I'm going to be mixing off a few songs, and we're going to be doing a little bit of our cultural songs and just get into the mix of things and just do a big celebration right here on Flashpoint. We're definitely going to do the Independence Week today. I'm going to treat it as if it's a weekend affair and it's a complete holiday in the Grand Cayman as well and the rest of the world. I know Jamaica is now celebrating holidays. It's a holiday period, Hazel G. And I know excited, for different places you don't feel the festivity if you're living somewhere else. But, we are at Flashpoint. Wherever you are, we're going to bring that festival, that independence energy to you in your neck of the wood. So keep it locked right here on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues all day, and Mikey G mixed some songs later on this evening. Pure Festival. And I'm going to go into some of our historical archives and bring out some of our songs, and of course some of the history of where we started, how we got here, and why our music is so potent across the globe right now, the Jamaican population. And so this song, I'm going to just drop it again.
Sing it up, mister. Hey, what I said, so, yeah. Yeah. Get your hands in the air, sir. Woo, yeah. Then you will get no hurt, mister. No, no, no. I said it, yeah. I said yeah. What they say. What they say. I said yeah. This is what they
You know the number. It says, "What's the number?" Is G. You know the number?
What number?
You know the number? You know the number?
What number?
It's called 5446.
Oh.
Wait for it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, give it to me one time. Give it to me two times. Give it to me three times. Yeah. Give it to me four times.
46. That's my number. All right.
Blaze in the steel. Bring
Who's
the
that
heat. Mix
song?
it non-stop with the hottest DJ.
And you know that this morning, that was my question to you this morning, Izzy. I want to say, Lady Elise, Lady Elise, please, Lady Elise, where's Lady Elise? Come on. This is my question to you this morning, Izzy, was who sing that song? All right, so I'm gonna go to the sing it since you asked. It's the man, the great late Toots Hibbert, and of course the Maytals. I can't leave them out because Toots is a big name on the track, and everybody knows Toots, and then nobody knows who the Maytals are because they're just one name with about three guys. The Maytals, right? And so the three guys have one name.
Maybe they're one family, so they have one. They, like you'd say, the Gordons or the Fletcher.
Yes. So if like one man have three wives, and so all the family is one family because he has all the children.
Why do you have to go there, so now?
No, because all the children named Garden, right? I'm just messing.
It could be the same wife.
Is it no, it's sorry, what was that?
I say it could be the same wife, not three different wives.
No, but I'm saying, no, the scenario is three different wives, and so it's one family. That's what I was saying. Because the name Garden.
All right.
I was just asking. Anyways, in Jamaica, it was now already 1834 has already gone. Emancipation happened. And so Jamaicans are celebrating now independence in 1962.
Yeah, when they relinquished their own rulership from the Britain.
They relinquished rulers. They took back their well, all right.
Rulership, whatever you want to call it, from Britain.
My question is always, why is the Governor General still in Jamaica after colonial rule ended and independence come? That's always my question. So that question is a very big question to answer. So if anybody can answer that question for me, just text it in the chat because you're brilliant. You're more brilliant than myself, and I know you know more than me. And so just explain to Mikey G, who can't understand so much. Why is it
different type of rulership, then the Governor General will be extinguished.
If what?
They go to a different rulership, like what is it now? We are a democracy, but if them to go to where they have just a president, yeah, we are prime minister, them a president, then there won't be any need for any governor.
We claim independence a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the system that we have set up. We still have to have a governor.
No, in Cayman, no. You can't mix Cayman with Jamaica. Cayman has not claimed independence.
I know. I'm talking about Jamaica. Don't we have the whatever Governor General, whatever
the
it
Governor General, right?
Yeah.
So I was saying that you can't mix Cayman with Jamaica because Cayman still maintains their British partnership, or
Yeah, they have to get directives from there.
Are you saying colonialism still exists in this jurisdiction? I'm not. All right, fine. So I'm just saying Jamaica wanted to get rid of colonial masters and get rid of colonialism out of Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did was they expelled the British from it. But if that is true, why is there a Governor General still in Jamaica?
Yeah, maybe we should call the Governor General and ask him.
All right, so it is 1966, and
Maybe we should call it a general.
it is 1966, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and of course, it is already past 1834. Emancipation already happened, and so this is being celebrated, and we celebrate emancipation because Jamaica got it basically on the 1st of August. Well, emancipation happened on the 1st of August, 1834. That's where emancipation is. And so it was a widespread thing. It wasn't just one jurisdiction, it was just about everywhere, right? And
Well,
so
when did Jamaica get theirs actually? When was it that
I'm gonna,
said emancipation? Was it 34 or 38?
well, that's what I'm saying. So even though emancipation, the abolishing of slavery happened in 1834, you ask a very valid question, and one of our guests, our listeners, you can just text in the chat. What year is a big question you ask? What year did Jamaica get emancipation even after 1834 in Jamaica? You ask a question that is not just a simple question, right? But anyways, it's now 1966, and of course they are having what you call the first. It is now 1962, and an independence came, and Jamaica feels themselves a sovereign nation. And so with sovereignty comes self-governance and self-rule. And so the music of the day and radio fusion was more of the westernized or the other persons who colonized you music from different places, different colonies, different persons who did the colonization of different providences. Their music would play on the Jamaican radio. That's what we are listening to. But then Jamaicans feel that they should have their own music, their own style of music, and their own culture outside of the colonial masters' culture. And so different genres were made. We had what we call mento. These are some of the things. In fact, even in Jamaica, we had what we call the Spanish music. What's this one? Ska. Not ska. I'm now forgetting my thoughts right there. But I'm gonna come back to it. But from that, ska was formed, and then outside of ska, rocksteady was formed. Outside of rocksteady, there was reggae music that came from that as it historical coming down.
Okay, so that's why this song ska 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 Jamaican ska.
That's why you heard Byron Lee's song, ska 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 Jamaican ska. But I'll go to that one right after I do this one for you, and then we go to the news. We definitely have to do ska 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 with Byron Lee. But then this man emerged the winner. So Jamaica decided they're going to have an independence celebration. And with that independence celebration, they're going to have a singing competition called the Festival Song Competition. And the first one was held in 1966.
Okay.
Guess who was the person who actually won that finalist in 1966? Anybody? I wish somebody would just text me and tell me. I'm going to check the chat quickly. I'm checking the chat just for that one. If anybody can tell me in 1966, the first festival song finalist, who did that one? All right, yeah, Lady G, time. Oh man, there's just something going on right here. Let me see. Oh, Toots and... Did somebody say Toots and the Maytals? Did somebody say Toots and the Maytals? Well, if that's what they said, let me see. This says this one is from CRMS. I don't know who CRMS is in the chat, but I'm going to just play it like this. So Toots and the Maytals actually came up with this track that is the first festival song ever of all time in Jamaica, and they were the emerging winner of this festival song competition. And this is their contribution to... Tell me if you remember this one. And so this song, yes.
Yes, I remember that song quite well.
And so this one is the man, Mr. Toots Hibbert and the Meters. Bam Bam was the first song. So it says, so the songs that we sing, they're not just, what do you think the song mean when it says Bam Bam?
I'm not sure. Maybe that way we get away from slavery.
We get away from slavery. It wasn't easy, you know. But it says, what a bam bam if you trouble this man. And so it was Jamaicans pride themselves to be a nation that didn't stand up for the foolishness that would have taken place, and we're not going to accept it anymore. And so I'm going to play the first line of it. At some point, black talking this and talking that, soon you will find out the man I'm supposed to be. I will even go as far as Lady G, and I would drop a track this morning outside of Byron Lee's track. I would play one last song. I didn't want to play it, but I'm gonna go. This song speaks of a time when black people couldn't speak at all.
Okay.
And you basically, you know how women rights come up and women say we can't talk, the man them just overpower we and them this and them that and
the voting rights and all kind of things.
And we want rights and we want that, right.
Voting
just think
rights.
About women's rights. Think about black people who are just black and you're African and you didn't have the right to drink at certain pipe.
But you didn't even have the right to your surname.
You didn't have the right, yes.
No, when it goes to Jamaica, they took away your surname.
Not only that, the name that you got. Yeah, but no, they took away your name and replaced your name with the master, the person who owned you as a slave master. And so you hear some people by the name who are black people and their name is white. I don't understand that.
But no, understand that your name was taken away from you, so.
The name was taken away from you.
Yeah, your surname was taken away from you.
All right, so there is another song I'm gonna drop this morning. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a few songs this morning, and so this is the one. This is one song. Wow, did I drop it on the table? All right, I'm gonna drop this one first since we're having this conversation, and then I'm gonna play ska last. Can I do that?
All right, and then we're getting out of here.
And then we get out of here, right? Please allow me. So this song is done by the man called Raskabi. And the storyline is this, that in Jamaica, a black nappy-head girl, and so here's where I'm going. You talk about women's rights and the whole thing of this women's rights movement only separated black people. That's what it did. It separated the black man from the black woman and weakened the ranks of black people with the women's rights movement. It was a distraction. And so black people maintained a slave mind continuously because they used women's right to separate the women from the men, and the black women bought the lie and went off on a different tangent and destroyed the home of families and basically destroyed the black nation with that concept. I'm saying it like that.
All right, play the song because I'm not going to go down the line with you right now.
Raskabi was a singer. No, we're not going on the line. I'm going to tell you what the history is.
All right.
Listen. What I say here, don't take it from me to say I told you a lie. Just look it up for yourself, read it for yourself, go study for yourself. It's not me making these things up, and because I've found these things, I'm able to see it.
What they're saying now that you are the what you call it? You're the messenger, so don't kill the messenger.
Don't kill the messenger. All I did was read the thing. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about these things until I started looking around. And then I realized that history is his story, and then I looked for my story and I found it.
All right.
So here's my story now. My story was black women in Jamaica, or black man, maybe more or less, but especially our black ladies, who, we are tellers, secretaries, frontline workers, in the offices and stuff, could not get a job in the banks or any of these these places. because there was what we call discrimination against the black people who had a certain color skin. Here's the day you couldn't pass. Here's the contribution of a man called Raskabi, who sang this song back in this was about 1974, I think this song came out.
Sleeping one night when the father vision I said I want you to be another follower of I. Not of you here and lead a righteous life, son. You will be blessed as a Rastafari. No, I had to make a living, I had a family. Food we must eat and clothes we must wear. Never had a bus fare, not a rec center around.
You can see that I don't know that song, right?
A job must be found. A sign said, long hair freaky people need not apply. No one hold me, I got no Rastafari. Long hair freaky people need not apply. No one hold me, got no Rastafari.
All right. So I'm gonna leave it there because of the purpose.
No, I say you can see that I don't know that song.
I see that you don't know that song, and you know what I'm saying is I'm bringing information here. This particular song was done back in the day. By this time, Michael Manley was then the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Okay.
He was there from before 1972, and so this song was being done at that time when colonial rule actually was in place, right? And while it was supposedly gone, it was still in effect in terms of the employment strategies. You could not, because they still owned the establishment, the official establishments within the country, and you were not able to employ the regular ethnic background of a colored skin called black. You have to be brown skin. So it says long hair, pretty people,
And that is why people bleaching themselves.
and so with the hate of yourself, with hatred for yourself, you bleach your skin. With hatred for your black skin, and you're told that you're ugly, you bleach yourself. No, it's a bigger conversation that we're having. But let's keep it mild and nice, all right? And so what happened to Raskabi says, long hair pretty people need not apply. And so Rastafarianism was direct opposition to colonialism, and it was the movement that fought against it in the highest level and was deemed the outcast of Jamaica because they stood strong against the system itself. And when you call a rebellious child, they rebelled against it by knotting up them here and change their look, and just we're not going to dress like you want us to dress in suits. We're going to wear bingy clothes and walk with the rod of correction, and we're going to do something different. We're not wear your shoes, we're going to wear barefoot. And so it's a long story, and so let's cut it short and do it like this for you.
You're listening to Flashpoint.
Not many people can cha-cha-cha. Not everybody can do the twist. But everybody can do the ska. It's a new dance you can't resist. Ska, ska, ska.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we have come to the end of the program, but of course, we get into our news. Lady G, let me tell you something. I am having a great morning this morning. How about you?
I'll have to say goodbye now.
No problem. Have yourself a wonderful day, guys, ladies and gentlemen. And so today we say to all our listeners, of course, our news comes up next. Have a wonderful Independence Day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
And you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It is Wednesday, August 6th, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm Coralie Karen. Government advances plans for new subsea cable. The Cayman Islands government is pushing forward with plans for a new subsea telecommunications cable amid concerns over the aging infrastructure currently connecting the territory to the global digital grid. The MAYA-1 cable, Cayman's primary link to the outside world for everything from WhatsApp to wire transfers, is nearing the end of its lifespan. A government-commissioned report by Grant Thornton labeled a new cable as a national security priority, citing risks to the financial services sector and growing digital assets industry. Cabinet has now approved the drafting of legislation to begin market engagement for a replacement system. Officials say the government has no control over the two aging cables currently in service and that losing one could trigger severe economic consequences. Randolph Scarborough, head of the Submarine Cable Modernization Project, said a 10-day outage could cost Cayman up to £200 million. Spirit Airlines launches new Fort Lauderdale Grand Cayman route. Low-cost carrier Spirit Airlines is making a return to Grand Cayman with a new non-stop flights from Fort Lauderdale beginning December 4th. The route will operate 3 times a week on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays and is expected to run year-round. Introductory one-way fares are as low as US $66 from Fort Lauderdale and US $165 from Cayman for tickets booked between August 5th and 11th. The move follows strategic meetings held at the Kappa Airline Summit in April. Tourism Minister Gary Rutty said the route strengthens Cayman's airlift from the crucial Florida market, while Director of Tourism Rosa Harris added that the increased seat capacity should drive higher visitor arrivals. Spirit joins Delta, United, American, JetBlue, and Southwest in expanding service to Cayman this winter season. Air travels down in June but still up for the year. Visitor arrivals by air dropped nearly 9% in June compared to the same month last year, with 37,848 stayover visitors recorded. However, total arrivals for the first half of the 2025 period reached 259,338, up 3.4% from the same period in 2024. Cruise arrivals also took a hit, with June's 44,709 passengers marking the lowest monthly total since 2000 outside of pandemic or hurricane events. Officials expect this downward trend to continue through September before rebounding in the fourth quarter. Cayman surpasses Delaware in SPAC formations. Cayman has outpaced Delaware in the formation of special purpose acquisition companies, SPACs, with 62 of 63 U.S.-linked SPACs set up in Cayman in 2024. Lower insurance premiums and global reputation for flexibility are drawing investors back. Oigo partner Natalie Bell reports US $7 billion in SPAC-related deals advised by her firm in the first half of 2025 alone, with a total expected to surpass last year's US $11 billion. Mosquito surge following recent rains. Residents are being warned of increased mosquito activity after several heavy rainfall and high tides across Grand Cayman. The Mosquito Research and Control Unit is intensifying aerial and ground spraying efforts, with another emergence expected around August 15. Mosquitoes counts are averaging nearly 14 per night, more than double last year's numbers. Pet owners are being urged to protect animals against heartworm, especially from the black salt marsh mosquito, now dominant in the area. The MRCU is asking the public to report any unusual mosquito activity to mrcu@gov.ky to assist in targeting hotspot areas. Conviction upheld for man who killed his son. The Court of Appeal has dismissed the appeal of Roger Bush, who is serving a 33-year sentence for murdering his son, Shaquille Bush, in a jealous rage in 2019. Bush was found guilty in 2022 after evidence showed he fired 15 shots, believing his son had fathered a child with his girlfriend. Appeal judges upheld the original verdict, citing strong witness testimony, phone and CCTV evidence, and Bush's own failure to provide a plausible defense. Now to regional news. Dr. Garfield Badal leading a pediatric transformation in Western Jamaica. Dr. Garfield Badal, Chief Pediatric Surgeon for Jamaica's Western Regional Health Authority, is being recognized for transforming pediatric care across Western parishes. Over the last 2 decades, Dr. Badal has spearheaded numerous developments, including a pediatric day case surgery unit handling up to 50 procedures monthly, expanded urology and cancer care, and specialized training programs. As the long-anticipated Western Children and Adolescent Hospital nears completion, Dr. Badal says the facility will expand care in fields like pediatric cardiology and endocrinology, potentially serving children across the wider Caribbean. And in international news, U.S. terminates 22 mRNA vaccine contracts, raising global eyebrows. In a controversial move, the U.S. government has cancelled 22 mRNA vaccine development contracts worth nearly US $500 million. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the decision is based on data showing the vaccine's limited effectiveness in preventing respiratory illnesses. The cancellation affects projects involving Moderna, Pfizer, and Sanofi as the U.S. shifts its focus to alternative vaccine platforms. Critics warn that this could undermine public trust in vaccines despite global recognition of mRNA technology's role in ending the COVID-19 pandemic. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Please continue to stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun, with Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
Of course, you want to say welcome back, yes.
Yes, a special Independence Day version of the Breakfast Hour. And my, what a morning we've been having. It has been such a wonderful morning, and I want to say thank you to our listeners and the viewers that are tuned in. Some persons are enjoying the music. I think I saw someone said in the chat, yes, music nice, and said that it's been a long time since they have seen the Hazel G. Welcome to the Breakfast Hour. We are getting out of studio, but we don't want to leave you high and
dry. All right.
So, of course, to take us out this morning is the man himself, Audley Scott, as he does his rendition of Jamaica's national anthem.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil power. Be our light through countless storms. To our leader, great defender, grant wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Stir response to duty. cold. Strengthen us the weak to carry. Give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
Man, Mr. Arthur Scott this morning, Jamaica land we love. What a morning we have had. More questions than answers. More questions than answers. I hope I did justice to this morning's experience. We did justice to this morning's experience. Because, you know, sometimes we get so caught up into ourselves, we feel so like it's you and you and I and I and I and I, Rastafari. Alright, fine. So the Rastafarian movement in Jamaica started back in the early 60s, and yeah, it's a revolutionary movement of Pan-Africanism. And so so some atrocities that happened to Rastas. They were imprisoned back in the 1960s, 1970s, brought into, locked up. You know, what you can do, the worst thing you can do to a Rasta man is like Samson in the Bible, cut his locks. And so they catch Rastas all over the country of Jamaica. Everywhere you could find them, and brought them in, and they cut their locks and shaved their heads, and they desecrated them in a very bad way, and show, you know, see and try to, you know, but the message that we're bringing was against slavery and against the oppression that slavery left behind, called colonization. And that was just a bad taste. And after independence, you have something else that continued. We won't get into that, but Michael Manley played a very important, pivotal role in the experience of black people's rights as within the country, even after independence 1962. He passed laws that allow black people, black women especially, to work in the banks and other frontline secretaries. They could become secretaries and bank tellers, and you know, you could just work in places without anybody saying your color of your skin and your nappy head is not going to get you through the door. And so for me, and I see men and women bleaching themselves, it disrupts my flow. I see a disrespect to our nation. I see a disrespect to yourself, and I think I see self-hate and self-induced psychosis and mental decapitation. Alright, so you have self-destruct in some way, and that's what I'm gonna say. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but that's what bleaching is to the black nation. And the persons who make the bleaching cream for you are persons of Caucasian descent who decides that they could benefit from you, and you enrich them by bleaching to further maintain your oppression under any kind of psychological. Alright, here's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say to you Please, guys, stop bleaching your skin, man. You're black and beautiful. I would say that you must know who you are and take control of that. Stop it. Stop teaching the next generation how to be. Alright, guys, thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. Of course, if you did not do it now, hit the notification bell so every time one of these programs comes up, you get it first. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. Of course, continue to enjoy Flashpoint Radio all day on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues all day. Later on, Mikey G, myself, is going to be mixing a few tracks for you in the afternoon, talking about and give some history lessons on our music, how it, some of the songs that you listen to, what their actual meanings are, and how they were actually how they came about and why. So please stay tuned for later on. Continue to enjoy Flashpoint all day. Great programming coming up. Have yourself a God bless day. Keep safe wherever you are.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem better outside. Just us in the sky. Circus, is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate.
I'm Clint Edwards, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. You know, wherever I travel around the globe, I have access to Flashpoint Radio, and so should you. Flashpoint Radio.